Move forward. Solicitor General Sylvia Jones, Minister Dunlop, Associate Minister of Children and Women's Issues, and MPP Oosterhoff representing Niagara West, Doug and Donna French, our Niagara partners, Deputy Chief Brett Flynn, and Linda Filbert, representing our Police and Family and Children's Service partners. Welcome, special guests. On behalf of the board and staff of the Christian French Child Advocacy Centre, I'd like to welcome you to the Child Advocacy Centre serving the Niagara region. We are pleased to host your announcement this morning. In our first year, the Centre hosted 50 child abuse investigation cases and now hosts on average 340 per year, involving 500 plus individuals. Child and youth advocacy centres across Ontario and the country have dramatically changed the face of child abuse investigation experiences for children and youth. Niagara's model of joint investigation between child protection and police is meant to reduce the trauma associated with disclosing abuse by minimizing the number of times a child has to repeat his or her experience of abuse. As well, the CYAC model is meant to provide navigational support throughout the justice system experience and crucial medical and mental health follow-up supports as well. CYACs have proven to provide a return on investment that not only saves dollars through the joint investigation process, but also, if we support children well in the beginning of their disclosure experience, we can strengthen their ability to cope with future mental, physical, and emotional health needs that are often otherwise compromised later in life when there's a lack of adequate response to their experiences in the present. By providing this coordinated trauma-reducing response, we consider CYACs to be an important link in reducing children's future vulnerability to those who would target our young ones for further exploitation. So welcome, Premier, special guests, to the Christian French Child Advocacy Centre, Niagara.
Good morning. I am pleased to be here today as a frontline service provider working to support victims and survivors of human trafficking. As a member of the province's Anti-Human Trafficking Lived Experience Roundtable and as a survivor of human trafficking. Thanks to the work that has been done in our province, more people are coming forward, like myself, that were forced into sex work through false promises of love, abuse, and manipulation. For those that have begun the process of healing, and for those that are still ensnared in the web of fear and control that traffickers create, this strategy will make a significant impact in their lives. The strategy will help create awareness and reach those that have yet to be reached. This strategy will assist parents and caregivers that are seeing signs of distress but are not able to recognize exactly what they are seeing. People that are currently being trafficked often don't know the name of what it is that they're experiencing or where they can go for help. Service providers that do not have the training to identify human trafficking and understand what steps to take next. By creating supports to intervene early, this strategy will help to fill critical gaps in specialised services so that service providers like police, child protection, and community partners have the tools they need to respond and provide care in a timely manner. By creating a programme where child protection and police work together on the same team, we will be better equipped to bring our missing and exploited youth back to a safe and supportive environment. Investments in the justice sector will mean that police have more time to intervene, investigate, and hold traffickers accountable so that they cannot continue the cycle of exploitation. This sends a message to traffickers that they cannot continue to get away with this incredibly abusive crime. This investment will mean that survivors will be better supported if the justice system is the right path for them. Finally, and I think most importantly, targeted support for survivors. The strategy means that we have time and resources to walk beside survivors while they regain control of their lives and become free from abuse, control, and manipulation. Survivors will have access to services that meet our specific needs. These services include trauma-informed healthcare, Indigenous-led services, and survivor-led peer mentorship programs. The more tools that service providers are given to respond to the emergent needs of victims of human trafficking, the more time we are given to look at a person as a whole, who they were before, and the potential of who they can become. All survivors of human trafficking have the potential to live full and extraordinary lives when they are provided with proper supports. Today, I am pleased to see a survivor-informed strategy, one that looks across the different systems and prioritizes supporting and empowering survivors of human trafficking. This strategy has enabled and honoured mine and other survivors' voices. The Provincial Lived Experience Roundtable has allowed me to learn from my survivor peers and for all of us to advise the government on what our needs really are and how to support people who have been trafficked and create a space where we are valued for our input and our ability to make a change in our province. When services are created and designed by survivors, we mitigate the risk of our services being ineffective and re-traumatizing. As a person who works to support survivors of human trafficking, a member of Ontario's Lived Experience Human Trafficking Roundtable, and a survivor, I look forward to seeing Ontario's new anti-human trafficking strategy implemented and to seeing the tangible impact these dedicated anti-human trafficking programs will have in our province. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone. Thank you, Janet. Thank you for your bravery. Thank you all for coming here this morning. Thank you for being part of the solution, as awareness is such a part of the solution. Niagara is on the front lines when it comes to human trafficking and the fight against human trafficking as a border community with a highly transitory population. And I know that the announcement this morning will mean a great deal here across the province, but also here in the Niagara region. And so now with further details of the new Ontario Anti-Human Trafficking Strategy, I introduce the Premier of Ontario and a friend of Niagara's, Doug Ford.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you, MPP Oosterhoff, for the introduction, and Simone, thank you, and thank you. I'll be speaking further down, but thank you for sharing your story. I had an opportunity to sit with Simone upstairs and sharing her story. Is first of all, you're one of the strongest people I've ever met, and we're there to support you any way we can. It was heartbreaking. My friends, it's my personal mission to put an end to this disgusting industry. So thank you for your courage and your strength. I'm so honored to be here with the good folks of the Kristen French Child Advocacy Center. Mark and his team are doing an incredible job, and I had an opportunity to meet Mark earlier, and thank you so much. I'm here today with some absolute champions, our government's co-leads on our new anti-human trafficking strategy. Solicitor General Sylvia Jones and our Associate Minister of Children and Women's Issues, Jill Dunlop, as well as Minister Scott. Thank you. Minister Scott, for those who don't know, Laurie, I want to thank you for leading the fight for this important issues for a number of years. We have MPP Carrie Helios. There you are, right at the back. And I also want to acknowledge OPP Commissioner Creek. Thank you for being here. OPPA President Rob Jameson, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. As we approach International Women's Day, we are delivering on our government's commitment to protect children and women, to end violence, exploitation, and abuse, and hold those criminals who seek to do them harm accountable for their actions by putting them behind bars where they belong. Human trafficking is one of the fastest growing crimes worldwide. 2/3 of all police reported cases of human trafficking in Canada happen right here in Ontario. 7 in 10 victims are under the age of 25, and the average age of recruitment is 13 years old. That's absolutely disgusting, 13 years old. It's considered modern slavery. And these criminals are targeting the most vulnerable members of our society, our children. It must stop. We need to keep our kids safe. I'm a father, my wife and Carla, and I have 4 daughters. I had an opportunity to sit down with Doug and Donna French earlier on. Listening to your story is, again, heart-wrenching. And as I mentioned, I gave my personal cell number. We're there behind you. We're there to support you. And we're so sorry for your loss. And we share the same sentiment. We have to start getting tough on these criminals. We have a weak federal judicial system that these criminals are out there, gangbangers and everyone else, they're shooting up the streets, causing trouble. And what's frustrating to all our police right across the province is all of a sudden you see these guys back on the street in a couple days. We have to, the message to the Prime Minister, and I'll be putting this message forward when I see him next week, let's get tough on crime once and for all. Let's throw the key away, put these nasty people in jail, and throw the key away. Simple. Until they can't hurt any other families. Like they hurt the French family. These people need to be punished. Sorry, I got sidetracked there a little bit. Like any parent would do anything to protect them. Hearing stories like Simone's is heartbreaking, but it also makes me absolutely furious. This is happening in our backyard. It could happen to anyone's child. And as we were talking with the French family, I'll be posing that question to the Prime Minister, as you mentioned. And what's even more disturbing is these criminals are making a profit off the backs of the most vulnerable. They're making an estimated $50 million a year, every single year, off exploiting our children. Money that fuels gun and gang violence in our communities. So we're taking a stand today. We're putting the traffickers on notice. And we're taking a decisive action to crack down on this heinous crime. Enough is enough. Today, I'm proud to announce that our government is investing $307 million over 5 years. That's a tremendous amount, but as far as I'm concerned, it can never be enough. We're also going to take a hard look at the legislative tools we have available to put a stop to this crime. And we're going to develop a public awareness campaign to help parents and children protect themselves from those who seek to do them harm. We will always stand up for victims. We will always stand up for law-abiding citizens. And for the criminals out there who are listening to us, we're coming for you. We will find you and we will catch you and we will lock you up for a long time. Because no child, I repeat, no child should ever live in fear of violence or exploitation. It's absolutely wrong. We're going to keep up the fight to protect our kids. And we will continue to give our police the tools and the resources they need to keep them safe. I'd like to invite Minister Dunlop to the podium now to share more about our government's new strategy. And I have to tell you, Minister Dunlop is doing an absolutely incredible job. I was saying the other day, Minister, I looked at your schedule and you must have had 20 20 events all one day, but thank you for doing an incredible job, and thank you, Simone. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to be here with the Premier, the Solicitor General, and MPP Oosterhoff to publicly release our government's new anti-human trafficking strategy. I want to thank Simone for coming today and giving her perspective as a survivor. No one should ever have to go through what you went through, and I want to thank you for working to fight against this crime. It is unfortunate that we need a strategy to combat a crime so unspeakable. Child and youth sexual exploitation should not need a plan to stop, as it should never, ever have started. It's hard to imagine that something as frightening as sex trafficking is happening in communities in Ontario. But the stark statistics the Premier stated tell a horrifying story. The biggest takeaway from everything this morning is that this is a crime that is occurring, and we need to do something about it now. I want to equip families to better fight this crime because it could be your daughter, cousin, sister, or friend. This past summer, I was honored to hold roundtable discussions across our province to hear what those impacted by sex trafficking had to say. We heard from survivors, law enforcement personnel, frontline service providers, and Indigenous communities and organizations, among others. Everyone that participated in these discussions shared their insights, perspectives, and suggestions with passion and purpose. Our strategy, the largest investment in anti-human trafficking in this country, reflects and builds on the valuable input we heard in these discussions. I want to thank everyone who participated in those roundtables and all those who have met with myself, the Solicitor General, the Premier, and any of our caucus colleagues with their experiences and suggestions. It is through this kind of collaboration that we can put forward a plan that doesn't just pay lip service to the issue, but provides the support needed to survivors, while also taking a real stance against the criminals profiting from this crime. Human trafficking robs the safety, livelihood, and dignity of those who are being exploited and abused. Survivors face tremendous obstacles, leaving their traffickers establishing a healthy life and healing from their trauma. As Indigenous women and girls are particularly vulnerable to being targeted, Indigenous-specific resources are embedded across our new strategy, providing significantly more supports to address the specific needs of Indigenous communities. Our strategy will deliver on our government's commitment to combat sexual exploitation and human trafficking in our province. It will help build healthier and safer communities, and it will make Ontario a true leader in the fight to end human trafficking across North America. Our government will not tolerate human trafficking, and our strategy demonstrates our unwavering commitment to women, children, and all Ontarians so that they can live free from the threat of fear, exploitation, and violence. And I will now hand it over to our Solicitor General to say a few words.
Thank you, Premier and Minister Dunlop, and thank you, Simone, for your courage and sharing your journey with us. I would be remiss. You see a lot of people in this room who are very engaged on the subject, but in particular, I'd like to thank Laurie Scott for being here with us today to applaud her tireless efforts over many years to work with raising awareness and educating us about this terrible crime. And also my parliamentary assistant, Belinda Karahalias, for leading a number of roundtables that helped develop our strategy. Human trafficking is a vicious and violent crime that targets women and young girls. In addition to its devastating impact on victims, we know human trafficking fuels other criminal activities, such as organized crime and gun and gang violence. Our partnership with law enforcement must be strong if we are to succeed in protecting our children and stopping criminals profiting from this appalling crime. Our government's new anti-human trafficking strategy will establish a new joint forces investigation team. This team will be made up of police services from across Ontario, including the Ontario Provincial Police, Municipal Police Services, and First Nations Police. Cooperation among police partners is essential in investigating human trafficking and sexual child exploitation. These crimes often span across municipal boundaries, and any gaps in police coordination make it possible for traffickers to operate and continue to exploit women and young girls. This new team will provide added capacity to identify, investigate, and disrupt human trafficking organizations operating in Ontario, including organized crime. The victims of these crimes are predominantly young women and girls. Most disturbingly, the average age of recruitment is just 13 years old. Nearly 2,000 youth in Ontario were trafficked in 2016. In response to the severe impacts on our children, our new strategy will increase the size and reach of the existing and successful OPP Child Exploitation Unit. New positions will be added to investigate sexual offences against children, including cases of child sex trafficking. Last December, trained investigators with the Child Sexual Exploitation Unit and Peterborough Police made 8 arrests using undercover techniques and access to online chat rooms and social media applications aimed at luring children. Our government is working with experts in policing to ensure they have the necessary resources to continue to investigate these crimes and follow up on information provided by police services and other agencies. To tackle this heinous crime from all angles, our new strategy will strengthen information and intelligence gathering at correctional facilities and probation and parole offices. Increased investment in institutional security teams, field intelligence officers, and intelligence analysts will help us better identify and monitor traffickers within the correctional system and help identify victims. As the Premier said, in Canada, 2/3 of all police-reported incidents of human trafficking happen right here in Ontario. And those are only the ones that have been reported. For the cases that are reported, police tell us human trafficking is difficult to investigate, due in part to the extreme trauma inflicted upon victims. Our justice sector needs support in order to build the capacity to fight against the crime. This new anti-trafficking strategy is a major step forward. It gives tools to law enforcement to bring traffickers to justice and support for victims. Everyone deserves freedom from exploitation, fear, and violence, and our government won't rest until these criminals are off our streets. Today, we are sending a message to human trafficking. If you target our children in our communities, we will find you, we will charge you, and we will shut you down. I would now like to invite Sam Oosterhoff to finish the podium.
Thank you, ministers. Thank you, Premier, Janet, and Simone again. Thank you all for coming. We know this is very good news for the Niagara region, as well as all of Ontario, and for most especially those victims of human trafficking, those affected by this heinous crime, and those who also need that support every single day, and our government is there for them. We will now be taking questions from the media. Please line up by the mic.
Yeah, so questions here at the mic. One question, one follow-up.
Good morning. My question's for the Premier. Earlier this week, your government backed down almost all the way on funded average classroom sizes, offered an opt-out to what was supposed to be mandatory e-learning. Mm-hmm. Is that change a concession that your government perhaps didn't get it right the first time, that wasn't actually what parents and students wanted?
No, we ended up getting it right. It's all part of negotiating, and I think the media saw the union was well aware of this a month ago and didn't say anything. Then they denied it, so we pulled out documents that proved it. But it's all part of the negotiating. We want our kids back in the classroom. We're being extremely, extremely fair to the teachers' unions. Again, we want them back in the classroom. Make no mistake about it. Right from day one, we said this. This is all about benefits. It's all about compensation. We made tremendous concessions. We've rolled back on the online learning, which I think is going to grow organically. There are already 55,000 kids in the province are doing it right now. And talking to a father the other day, he said, Absolutely. My son's going to do it because he wants an additional spare during class, and they're going to get together with a bunch of his pals and do it. So we're going to make sure that we do everything we can to have a fair deal for the students, the teachers, and the parents. But these teachers continuously going on strike, it's unacceptable. They've been doing this, by the way, to every single government for 50 years. No matter if they're NDP, Liberal, PC, whoever it is, well, we're taking a stance. We're going to make sure we take a stance on the 1%. All the rest of the Ontario Provincial Service is taking 1%. Why do they want double, an additional $3 billion? We want to put that $3 billion back in the classroom. And I also want to mention that we've increased spending in education by $1.2 billion, more than any other government in the history of Ontario. So we're putting money in there, $400 million on a math strategy as well. We just want a fair deal, and we want the kids back in the classroom.
And a follow-up question on sort of a different note. Tomorrow, the Ontario Liberals are picking their new leader. The numbers would suggest it'll be Stephen Del Duca. How are you feeling about this new contender for 2022?
I don't care who they pick. They destroyed our province. They put us $346 billion in debt, largest debt in the entire world, sub-sovereign debt. They left us with a $15 billion deficit, destroyed education, destroyed the healthcare system. We're fixing it. We lost 300,000 manufacturing jobs under the Liberals. We gained over 300,000 jobs since we've been in office in 18 months, leading North American economic development and job creation. So we're turning this province around for the people of this great province, and we're going to continue making sure we thrive and we prosper and we grow, unlike we saw for the last 15 years before us. But I look forward to sitting down and debating whoever they have. It doesn't matter who they elect. It doesn't bother me.
Hi, Premier. I'd like to check in with you on one of your campaign promises. You promised to lower electricity rates by 12% for families, but so far they haven't gone down. You said in a year-end interview that you might have to get creative in order to accomplish this. What do you mean? How do you plan to do it?
Yeah, well, first of all, let's go back to, we ended up getting rid of the cap and trade carbon tax, the energy there. We've put a panel together, the brightest minds in the energy sector that we're sitting down. To put it into perspective, if we were continuing on the rate the Liberals put us in, we'd be up 19% in hydro rates. At least we're trying to hold the line. We are going to keep our promise, reduce it by 12%. It's a very, very complicated issue. But let's not forget, the Liberals, there's never, ever in the history of this country ever been a larger transfer of wealth from the ratepayers to the political insiders under the Liberals ever in the history of this province. People were making millions and tens and hundreds of millions off the backs of the ratepayers. It's unbelievable. These contracts they put with these solar panels and the wind turbines, we were able to cancel $780 million of them, dollars worth, which we're fortunate. But because of that, to put it in perspective here, we have to compete against the U.S. in manufacturing, and some of their rates are 20% lower than Ontario's. These people are getting, for the solar energy, they're getting as high as 80 cents a kilowatt when it should be 6 cents, 7 cents. The previous government didn't care about the people. They just wanted to ram their agenda through, put these wind turbines in where people didn't even want them. They didn't even consult with communities. They just rammed them down their throat, overpaid for electricity. We have more electricity than we know what to do with. We're having to send it down to the States at a loss. There's never been more of a disaster on an energy file. Matter of fact, one quick story, I was in New York. We're raising money with our finance minister, and one of the top banks in the world came to us and said, there's no government, or there's no one, even if we tried to destroy an energy file, there's no government anywhere in the world that destroyed your energy file more than the previous Liberal government and the existing government that we have federally right now. We have to compete, and we have to lower the energy costs, and I'm committing that we're going to lower it by 12%. I just had a 2-hour meeting about this yesterday, so I'm just zoned in on this like I've never been before, but it is extremely complicated when you have 30,000 contracts out there.
Yeah.
We're going to fix it.
My follow-up on that, a bit technical. When you say you're going to measure lower it by 12%, what's the baseline that you're using? How will we know when you've met your goal?
Well, after I sit down with the panel, and I've asked some of the brightest minds in the country to come together, they're the experts, and they have some great ideas. So you'll hear about it over the next few weeks. Our solution to bring down the cost, put money back into people's pockets. For instance, people work all day, they work their backs off, and then they have to go home and start doing chores at 8, 9 o'clock at night because of the energy costs. There's one thing we're going to do. We're going to look at that until people at any time of the day can do their wash, do vacuuming, do anything without worrying about it. Well, my wife's up at 9 o'clock at night putting the laundry in when they could be doing it during the day. So we're putting an end to that. I promise you that. So you'll hear the rollout shortly.
Morning, Premier. U.S. states like California and Florida have passed legislation that makes mandatory training for hospitality workers on the signs of human trafficking. Can you talk about why that's a step the government chose not to take?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure.
People in California and...
Yeah, California and Florida are making it mandatory for people who work in the hospitality industry to have training that fills them in on the signs of human trafficking, that it might be happening in their hotels, in their restaurants. And so why is that a step the government is not taking in this package?
Well, actually, that's not correct. We're working. I was over at Niagara Police Headquarters the other day, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're working with restaurants. They're working with local hotel owners. And as the chief said over there, sometimes the hotels will cooperate. They'll call them ahead of time if they see some shady person checking in with a young gal, and they've called Niagara Police, and they respond. I have no problem working hand in hand with the Ontario Restaurant Association, Ontario Hotel Association, and work in cooperation with us. So.
But you don't think it needs to be mandatory. Like that collaboration's happening, but there's no mandatory.
Well, something to regulate a private company, a hotel, I think the cooperation is a lot better than trying to regulate someone, and have good communications with our local police departments across this province and work with them. And I'd say 99% of hotel owners are very cooperative. So we'll continue working on that.
Next question.
Good morning, Premier. My name is Bonnie. I'm from CKTB here in St. Catharines. Some critics of your government have said that your latest announcements have been very reactive instead of proactive. For example, the latest education concessions that your government has made. How do you respond to critics who say that you're flying by the seat of your pants after gauging the public's reaction?
Well, something, it's all part of negotiations. For 15 years, they destroyed the education system. Half of our grade 6 students are failing math. We're the lowest in the entire country. We don't believe that teachers should be hired based on seniority and teaching math. I'll give you this quick example. You have a phys ed teacher who's been teaching for let's say 15 years. You have a great math teacher teaching for 12 years. They go to a new board. Guess who's getting hired to fill that math position? The phys ed teacher. Nothing against the phys ed teacher, but let's start putting the right people in the right places. So we believe it should be merit-based hiring, based on their qualifications to teach our children. We're revamping our education system. 1/3 of the grade 6 math tests, the same teachers that are teaching it, they're failing the same test as the students are. So to sit back and live back in the 1980s education system is unacceptable. We want to thrive to be the best and have our students be the best. But part of negotiating is giving and taking. And that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to be as flexible as possible. But you just don't roll over like the previous Liberal government did and spend billions and billions of dollars. And I remember, didn't they order every teacher pizza, and just, it was out of control.
So you're saying your government's flexible, so the budget's going to be announced in about 3 weeks' time. Are you pretty well set on your financial priorities for that budget?
Well, we review it every single day. I'm in meetings running through line item by line item. I believe there's over 30,000 line items. And we're going to make sure that we respect the taxpayers. We continue to lower the deficit. And we're going to continue making sure companies thrive. We give you an example. We've given back to the public over $3 billion. We gave 1.1 million of the lowest income people earning under 30,000 0%. And I know our opposition hates to hear that we're helping the most vulnerable, but there's no government in this province, in the history of this province, that have helped people earning under $30,000 more than we have. They're paying 0% tax, and companies are thriving right now. We put $5.2 billion into small businesses, making sure that they can compete, not only here, but down in the U.S. And we have to get this NAFTA deal ratified as well. We do $390 billion a year in two-way trade with our neighbors south of the border and the federal government, and it's all parties, by the way. It's not just the Liberals, it's the Conservatives, the Liberals, NDP. Get your act together. Get this deal signed. Mexico signed it. The U.S. has signed it. And as I said the other day, Ambassador Lighthizer down there, I've been in communications with him frequently, almost every single week, asking me what is going on up in Ottawa. We need leadership up there. And as I said last week, it's like having a 300-pound gorilla on my back. He wants his deal signed. And we can't play politics any longer. Then that's a message to all the parties. Too many jobs rely on this trade deal. Again, $390 billion two-way trade. If we were a standalone country, Ontario would be the U.S.'s third largest trading partner in the entire world. So let's get that deal done.
Next question.
Good morning, Mr. Premier. I just have a couple of questions about today's announcement. Specifically, you're talking about more supports for the Crown, more supports for corrections, more supports for intelligence services. The Sole Gen was talking about a coordinated unit to deal with this. Is that going to require the hiring of new officers, new lawyers, new specialists across these departments? And of this $370 million, how much of that is going to be directed to ensure that there's personnel to fill these new roles, and when we'll actually start to see this roll out?
So before I hand it over to the Solicitor General here, I'm a strong believer, and I know the Solicitor General is a strong believer. We aren't the experts in policing. The police are the experts. And for too long, governments have dictated to police what they should and shouldn't be doing. I believe in handing the money over to the police. Let them make the decision. Don't be dictated by some big government that's never been done policing in their lives. I have the utmost respect for our police. Full disclosure, I love our police, and you need a government that gives them every tool in the toolbox to get the job done. I'll hand it over to the Solicitor General.
Thank you. So in terms of the actual investments, we worked pretty cooperatively with the OPP and the police services. Out of the 307, the vast majority will go to victim support, but almost 70 million will go into the justice sector. And that includes both the cooperation that will incur between OPP and other police services, including First Nations police, as well as on the Crown side. We need some specialization, education on the Crown piece, and that's an important understanding of how you need to deal with survivors through the justice system. And the coordination between police services is going to be critical as well. But in answer to your question specifically, $70 million.
And just quickly, while you're at the microphone then, when will we start to see this roll out? Like, at what point will we actually see some of these joint units and these new Crown initiatives functioning?
So some of the joint operations have already occurred. I made reference to the OPP and a Peterborough operation this past year. Those will continue. What we have done with this investment is expanding the child exploitation unit at the OPP to ensure that we can, frankly, investigate all of the feeding that we're already receiving from organizations and other services.
Okay, next question.
Good morning. We've oftentimes heard from shelters serving victims of domestic violence as well as those frontline workers working at rape centers. What portion of this investment, this money, is going to be going to these places? Because they do oftentimes work with victims of human trafficking.
I'd be happy to take that one. In November, we announced annualized funding of $20 million a year, and more than half of that was to go specifically to community supports. I'd like to thank all of our stakeholders in the room that we worked with on this plan moving forward and the work that you do to support our victims. With the new money announced today, there's an additional $4 million for our specific Indigenous-led initiatives fund, as well as $6 million for community supports, so the shelters, et cetera, that support our victims.
How do you intend to measure the success of these initiatives, and what are your goals down the line?
Well, I guess ultimately we would want to end human trafficking altogether, but that is something that's going to take all of us and not just our shelter supports. It's taking the education component, educating the public, the parents, the children. I'm excited that our new health and physical education curriculum also includes a portion of human trafficking starting as early as grade 4. And we talk about our victims being as young as just 13 years old entering trafficking. We need to be educating those young people. But we also talk about our Hotel and Motel Association doing their piece, also the Truckers Against Trafficking. And I have firefighters here today who are also leading the charge in their areas. So it's very important, the education component, but it's really all of us coming together to work to end human trafficking.
This last question?
Good morning. My question is actually for Simone. If you feel comfortable, do you mind sharing a little bit more of your story? How old you were when you became involved, who forced you in, and how did you manage to get out?
Today I'm not going to answer that question. I think that today is about moving forward and all the positive steps that we have taken to eradicate this and not focusing on someone's story.
What do you... Simone, as a survivor, what do you think is the hardest part in recovering?
I think that the hardest part of recovery is different for everybody, but I think that a misconception that we often have is that we think when we take people out of their trafficking situations, we think that that's it, we've done the work, they've left. But recovery is very difficult when you've lived in trauma and you've learned to live that way and adapt to that situation. That recovery can be very scary, so that's why this is so important that lots of money is going towards supporting survivors and survivor-led initiatives. Thanks.
Okay, Jamie has one last question.
During this press conference, we found out that another 2 people have tested positive for COVID-19. Are you at the point where you're worried and concerned, and how is the province reacting to receiving connection being closed? Yeah. I know the history of the connection being shut down.
I can't comment about that convention, but we put a central command table together with experts, everyone from medical expertise and scientists, and I have a incredible confidence in Minister Christine Elliott, Minister of Health, also the Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Williams. They're doing incredible work. Jamie, what makes me nervous is the economy as well. Taking a hit on the economy, that's what makes me nervous. We're doing everything we can to make sure that we keep the economy moving forward in a positive fashion. We put a task force together, as we mentioned in Cabinet with all my Cabinet ministers the other day. They've put emergency plans together, be it health, which is obvious, number one, but economic development, tourism. I was messaging back and forth with Minister McLeod today, and just coming up with a strong strategy. We're ready. We're a lot smarter now than we were years ago when we had SARS, and we learned a lot from that experience. But I think we have some of the greatest minds anywhere in the world right here in Toronto in the medical profession. And again, there's meetings every single day with the Minister of Health. and I get briefed every single day, sometimes twice a day. But we have to be vigilant and make sure that we do everything we can to stop this virus from spreading.
But it looks like it's now we're seeing North America, or not the actual term they use, but transmission of the disease in North America. Does that make you worried?
Well, I'm always concerned, but again, we have to move forward, carry on with our lives, and be as vigilant as possible. But our team is all over this. Again, we have some of the greatest people anywhere in the world right here in Toronto working on this, making sure. I had a meeting last night with all the premiers. The conversation came up. We're communicating with all their deputy ministers and ministers right across the province, sharing strategies. Again, all premiers across this province. We were on the phone for 45 minutes last night, and we're on full alert. But thanks, Jamie. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Appreciate it.